by the United States in their program. So this like tit for tat. We're going to talk about these disappearing scientists. But
First, we want to tell you about Cowboy Colostrum because this spring, if you're ready to see real cows win a male hive in this world, well, you can keep benefiting from that from bovine colostrum, even if you have stopped nursing, which you understand English. I hope you have. Start to proceed if you can speak. So you can continue to get this benefit. So check them out, cowboycolostrum.com/redacted news. There's a QR code. If you're watching this on the screen, you can scan. For a limited time, you can get 25% off your entire order. Once again, that's cowboycolostrum.com/redacted news.
well, we're going to turn now to our top story. Get into your super chats if you can as well. So you have now what's going on in this world. Here in a second. We're starting today with some critical updates on this woman who issued a bombshell statement, essentially drawing a line in the sand. They announced that as of April 1st, any execution of their government staff will trigger a massive response. They specifically threatened to attack Microsoft, Google, Apple facilities worldwide, just Cisco, HP, Oracle, Meta, IBM, Dell, what's Palantir, NVIDIA, JP Morgan, Spire Solutions, GE, Tesla, G42, Boeing. This is just a short list. We advise the employees of these institutions to immediately leave their workplaces to preserve their lives. Residents around these terrorist companies in all countries of the region should also leave their area within 1 kilometer radius and move to a safe place. Companies that are actively participating in terrorist designs will face countermeasures for every assassination target. I have the list there. These companies should expect the destruction of their related units from 8 p.m. Tehran time on Wednesday, April 1st, for every assassination in Iran. So, wow, this is a direct pressure move in the Trump administration. These supporters have massive stakes in these tech giants, of course. Apple alone has $500 billion U.S. investment in manufacturing in the United States. So, this is a massive response and escalation to continue to execute assassinations of our military, leadership, IRGC, and of our heads of our government, which Trump jokes about, then we will destroy your American companies. What kind of pressure we receive from tech oligarchs, which basically won't let us anyway, right?
Well, which is a terrifying tip to cut because over the weekend, Israel targeted steel factories inside of Iran, which were not owned by the Iranian government, are supplemented, but then that means private companies that boost your economy are fair game. That's what we did this first. That's what our side did. Yeah.
Next, we want to talk about just boots on the ground. There's a question of whether this is just bluffing or shows force for Iran to buckle. Special forces sources claim they are locked and loaded for something much bigger invasion. Something that could last 8 days or 80 days. And lastly, President Trump posted on Truth Social this morning telling Britain and Europe that they're on their own for oil. They should man up and send ships to the Strait of Hormuz to get involved. So with all of this unfolding, closely watching the situation, stellar job at it on X. Brandon Weichert, he has hosted an asset podcast, former Hill insider in Washington. Inner workings, has to take a shower on a regular basis because of the inner workings in Washington.
Swamp.
So Brandon is back with us. Great to see you again, Brandon.
Swamp ass.
And it's ironic because I live in Florida, in a swamp. So I have both literal and metaphorical swamp experience. So, hey, by the way, check out 1945.com. Please help me follow Lawson's over there. The senior security editor at 1945.com. Great job. Love pretty much you guys, right?
And also, that set guy at Ignorant.tv getting ready to drop on the Saturday issue.
Absolutely. So we talk about satellite stuff. We're talking about the latest developments with ground troops and all of that. So let's start with that response from Iran. This April 1st sort of deadline. If you hit one of ours, we're going to destroy Apple. We'll go after Google. We're going to hit all of the major tech companies as a response. What do you think of that?
Well, I think the Iranians, I think I said this last time I was on with you, the Iranians have demonstrated they are a professional force. They are not Arabs, that are poorly fed and poorly prepared for war. This is a very serious force, and they are countering us. Every time we go with the escalation line, they go right up there with us. And so it's, as they said, it's tit for tat. We kill our leaders, we killed a lot of their leaders. And so in the last 3 weeks, okay, we're going to go after the next economics threat. We've gone after the oil, the natural gas, we've gone after tourism of the region, we've support the Arab states in Israel, we've gone after helium supplies, which are vital for semiconductor creation. So goodbye AI bubble. Now we're going to target the tech sector of the region. Remember last year, President Trump, this was really a big draw for him. It's been undone now by this war, but last year Trump went to the Qatar, went to DMV, and he had that war with the pool, and he put in some billions of dollars in deals for America, and a lot of it is predicated on joint tech development for the AI sector. David Sachs is there for the AI czar for Trump. And so now the Iranians are saying, okay, we're going after these tech companies in the region. And it's partly because, or largely because, they assume in Iran, and I think they're not wrong to say this, that at least some of those tech companies are being used by the West to create conditions in Iran electronically for regime change. Remember, 40,000 Starlink terminals were discovered in the Islamic Republic of Iran during those protests that kind of sparked this whole conflict in many respects from December until about February of this year. 30,000 terminals. That means that somebody had the money to purchase and procure and deliver high-end Starlink terminals to the people who were trying to overthrow the Iranian regime. So it's not surprising to me that the Islamic Republic had partnered with these tech companies in these global
Can I just point out, that's fact-based. In fact, we've reported on this for years. We have two things we can refer to. One is the Stanford report, the graphical report that the United States conducts PSYOPs in specifically in Iran and Afghanistan using social media like Meta. So we know that that's true. Also, we had the Google lockout about 2 years ago when Google employees were protesting that the technology was being used to track and target Palestinians. So those are fact-based types. It's real. So I don't know exactly how do we, think about that as Americans, knowing that we use those things. They're American companies, but they're used for nefarious purposes.
We have to remember that when we talk about social media, a lot of the social media companies fund their own technology, which is the CIA, venture capital arm of the CIA. The reason that Facebook, one of the reasons Facebook got the early investments it got from certain parties was because our intelligence services wanted the facial recognition. They were trying to train software, they didn't gain access to the database of faces of Facebook in the early 2000s. Facial recognition. They use that as part of their data aggregation systems that is now at a very complex level, but back then it was relatively minimal. So you've had intelligence services, Israeli intelligence services, all over the development of these social media platforms. That's just one aspect of the tech sector. But the tech sector is itself it's sort of an unofficial arm of the military-industrial complex. And we go back to 1947, Silicon Valley, the first groups that were out there were the early Valley labs, which were military-funded innovation hubs, and then eventually they evolved into this kind of quasi-private sector. And at the beginning of the 40s, mid to late 40s, with the initial telecommunications investments, the initial investments into what we call technologies development today, that all started with U.S. military and national security agency. So all this tech sector, social media, all of it is derived, at least in part, from our military-industrial complex.
Yeah, that's correct. It was a legal sit-in. It wasn't a lockout. The lockout was over sexual harassment. And in fact, all of those employees, right, the sitting place, all of those employees were fired. So those people are safe from the law right now. So they were at least protected.
Well, I was going to ask, I mean, my point to jump in there was just to say, President Trump today in the Truth Social post said they're decimated. QAnon is decimated, all but gone. So, I can't swear that I don't understand how they're able to pull this off. They'd be able to target all of America's major tech companies. What they're decimated.
The president of Pollyanna Pete had the ability to time travel apparently into the past, and the end is the beginning of the beginning. I feel like I'm in a Smashing Pumpkins song. The end is the beginning is the end. Ultimately, the fact is they've been saying that they were smashed and defeated on day one. And I just spoke for my show. I just did a pre-recorded interview with the great Andrei Marchanov, who's a Russian military expert, but he lives in America. He's a technological guy for the military. He does defense contracting. He told me point blank because the Iranians won the war on day one. And part of that is because we do not understand what we're up against. Part of that is because we weren't serious about what we were trying to achieve. We still don't know what the objectives are. I was watching a clip from Sunday, the Sunday shows. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of Everything, was claiming that the Iranian Navy and Air Force are destroyed, which is how we know we can end this war. And it's like, dude, that's like the Iraqi Navy. That was never even a real threat. What are you talking about? Well, because they're changing the goalposts. And so, we don't even know what we're doing anymore. I don't think we are. And I'm sorry, I lost in that diatribe. I lost the question. But
well, just the idea that they've been decimated, and so then if they're decimated, boots on the ground.
Right, exactly. So if they've been so successful, why is the 82nd Airborne going to Fort Bragg? Where they're Fort Bragg, why are they going to strippers and basically giving away all their money to strippers, and why are they selling all of their possessions before they leave? This, to me, does not sound like war is over. This sounds like a major escalation. And it's very scary because I have family members, I have friends in the armed services. They're going to be going over there. I have somebody I know who's already deployed, and nobody sounds really jazzed about this. Nobody's really excited. But if you're selling your possessions and spending all your money, spend years of things before you leave, the probability is you don't get the coming back. It's definitely not a good mindset for the force to be in before they deploy whatever crazy mission Trump is planned for them, or Trump wants to go on his own administration. Should go together on that.
So one of these strippers has gone viral in a different kind of way for saying this. We'll play this here to point what you're saying. Listen to this stripper. Sorry. We should do that. That sound is coming up there. Because that's pretty epic. Yeah, I don't know where that sound comes from. While we're reading, can I ask you a question for something I'm not really clear on? So this threat from Iran on these American companies, is this specifically in the Middle East region? I mean, this isn't an actual threat on like Seattle, right?
It sounds like it's just in the region. That's what it sounds like. Okay. I wasn't very clear on that either. Remember, there's also a translation problem here, because I read that the little bits that they did sound kind of choppy. I don't think, and I think I said this to you before, it's not that they lack the capability of the Iranians to attack us on the front. They absolutely have that capability. I think they've already gotten it. They're infiltrated here. The question is, if they're doing this well, as I suspect they're doing, by doing what they've done in the region, why would they want to risk alienating Americans who are already on the fence about supporting this war So I am very doubtful that they're going to try to attack the home front yet. I think what they're going to do is target the region. They're trying to basically break the economic underpinning of the Arab League. They made a very calculated decision at the start of the war to use all their might and pressure on the Arab states, believing, I think rightly, that the Arab states will be needed when it comes to the U.S. is one of the Arab states. The Iranians assess, I think, correctly, that those Arab states are equal, and if they go after their economies consistently, that they bet those Arab states will buckle. And I actually think this is part of a covert strategy by Iran. It's actually a brilliant strategy again. They're trying to create